It's wildcard weekend review time, so all you motherfuckers better get in here and watch this whole video. Rams versus Panthers. The game started with Stafford finding Schindler's List enjoyer Puka Nacua for a touchdown, while Bryce Young was doing Bryce Young things, throwing an interception, and then Puka ran, quote unquote, this touchdown in to put the Rams up 14-0, before Bryce Young helped get the Panthers on the board to cut it to 7. Stafford then led a field goal drive to extend that lead back to 10, but despite this dumbass not being able to field a punt for Carolina, the Rams could not capitalize on it, keeping the score at 10, while Bryce Young made some great throws before running in a touchdown to make it a 3-point game at halftime. Then Bryce helped make some more great throws to tie the game at 17, before Stafford helped the Rams get the lead back on a field goal to go up 20-17. The Rams got the ball back up 3, and then Stafford threw an interception to Michael Jackson. That's right, the king of pop has come back from the dead 16 years later to get a playoff interception. Congratulations. And then Young made a nice throw to lead a touchdown drive to give the Panthers a 4-point lead in an insanely wild fourth quarter. But guess what? John Matthew Stafford and his veneers led the Rams back on a touchdown to Kyren Williams. I have never not seen this route design work on the goal line, where a running back lines up against a linebacker and completely jukes the fuck out of him with this little in route. It works every time, I swear. The teams then exchange punts, and on the Rams punt, it was blocked, setting up a super short field for Bryce Young, and he capitalized on it with an insanely good throw to Jalen Coker for a go-ahead touchdown with 2:40 left in the game. But then the Panthers smartly decided, you know what, we can't ruin the Rams season. Let's go play some prevent defense and allow Stafford to just throw all these easy throws, get him down the field, and then make an insane throw to Colby Parkinson, no offense to Michael J. Fox, to take a 3-point lead with 40 seconds left. But the game was not over yet. The Panthers had all 3 timeouts and needed just a field goal, but they were not able to move the ball after Jimmy Horn Jr. dropped the ball, literally and figuratively, costing the Panthers their season and helping the Rams stay alive in a game that was closer than many anticipated. The video continues right after this. As most of you all know, I'm a gigantic Philadelphia Eagles fan, and not to brag, we're kind of a big deal. We've won 2 of the last 8 Super Bowls, we've been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and so as a fan, there's never been a better time to go see an Eagles home game. But how can I find tickets for an Eagles home game easier than ever before? Well, that's where SeatGeek comes into play. They're the sponsor of today's video, and I want to give them a huge shout out. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. The NFL and college football are in full swing. The NBA is back, and right now you can get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. I love using SeatGeek. I've used it to go to Eagles home games before. The experience each time is great, especially if you're playing a division rival. The atmosphere, the camaraderie that you feel, especially when your team is scoring a lot of touchdowns, there's nothing like it. And remember, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee. And of course, I came through for you guys. You can use code BARRY10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BARRY10. Don't forget to click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. Bears versus Packers. The Bears started the game with an 8-minute long field goal drive, which is like taking a girl out on a date and only getting a kiss on a cheek. The Packers offense, meanwhile, came out with a purpose, and Jordan Love looked excellent, throwing a touchdown to Christian Watson to go up 7-3, while Caleb Williams threw this interception, which in a way actually benefited Chicago because it cost the Packers about 30 yards of field position, but it ended up not mattering because the Packers scored a touchdown on this drive anyway, with another Love touchdown pass to Jaden Reed. Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson going for 4th down and failing was a big part of the first half. Here's this hilarious play. Christian Watson just completely spazzes out midair, loses the ball midair, it gets fumbled into the end zone, and the Packers recover it for a touchdown, but it wasn't called a touchdown because Watson didn't recover it. So basically, this play doesn't count, but the Seahawks 2-point conversion play that was literally thrown backwards and incomplete does count as a score. The NFL rules are fucking stupid. Anyway, it didn't matter again because on 4th down, Jordan Love threw another touchdown pass to condom helmet man Romeo Doubs to go up 21-3, and then Caleb Williams had another turnover on 4th down, and everything looked like the Packers were going to win by 50 until this, when Brandon McManus missed the field goal before halftime. This would be important later. And then Caleb Williams got going a little bit, giving the Bears a field goal, but it was still a 15-point game. And then later on, he threw a terrible red zone interception on 4th and 1, and the Packers offense could not capitalize, but the Bears could only get another field goal out of it to make it a 12-point game early in the fourth quarter. And then Iceman, as he's known, finally started going. Look at this fucking pass. That's an unbelievable throw. The Bears then got a touchdown on a DeAndre Swift run to cut it to 5. But the Packers finally woke up offensively with a great play by Matthew Golden, their first-round pick, who literally did nothing all season long, finally came up big to give the Packers an 11-point lead. Why 11 and not 12? Because Brandon McEpstein missed the extra point. 4th and 8, this is one of the greatest throws of all time. On the run, off platform, just ridiculous play by Caleb Williams here. And then he throws a touchdown to make it a 3-point game after they scored the 2-point conversion. How would the Packers respond? Well, Jordan Love helped get them down the field with a couple nice throws, which set up a 44-yard field goal for Brandon McDipshit, who missed it. If you're keeping track, that is 7 points that Brandon McManus took away from the Packers. Do you think that would be important? It would, because the Bears would go up by 4 with just under 2 minutes left on another Caleb touchdown pass. And then Jordan Love made a couple clutch plays on 4th down and 3rd down to get the Packers in position to potentially win the game, but the clock was a little bit mishandled, and then the game ended on a YOLO pass that was knocked down in the end zone. The happiest person in the world is Ben Johnson, because this motherfucker would have rightfully taken so much shit for the team losing with his terrible coaching decisions in the first half. Matt LaFleur, you are a Baltimore Raven or Atlanta Falcon now. Bills versus Jaguars. My God, that's playoff Trevor Lawrence's music. The Bills struck first with a field goal from Matt Prater to go up 3-0 before the Jags responded with a touchdown pass from Lawrence to Brian Toilet Jr. to go up 7-3. And the Bills were in serious jeopardy early on after a fumbled kickoff return set up the Jags in great field position, but they were unable to capitalize, turning it over on down because Trevor Lawrence slipped like a doofus before the first down line on 4th and 2. Josh Allen then finally started to get his head out of his ass by throwing this to Keon Cookies Coleman before running it in himself to give the Bills a 10-7 lead. Lawrence then made a great throw to set up a Jags field goal attempt by Cam Little to potentially tie the game, and he missed it. Again, do you think that would come in handy later? Allen then helped lead the Bills down the field to extend their lead to 6, but the Jags answered back with their own 3-pointer to make it a 3-point game once again. And you know I had to include this highlight of Josh Allen sacking Josh Allen. Wouldn't it have been funny if Josh Allen threw a season-ending pick 6 to Josh Allen? Anyway, Lawrence then capitalized on it, leading the Jags to a touchdown drive early in the fourth to take a 4-point lead, but the fourth quarter was just non-stop back and forth play by the offenses. Allen showed up, throwing a touchdown pass to Kincaid to go up by 3 again, but then Lawrence answered back himself, leading the Jags downfield with a go-ahead touchdown pass with 4 minutes left. And oh, here we go again, another close Josh Allen playoff game. Would he meet the moment? And yes, he would, with a great throw downfield, and then a hilarious tush push where Allen was literally carried, I mean physically, literally lifted off the ground 10 yards, which then set up another Allen tush push. Every time he does this, he goes to the left. Am I the only fucking person who realizes this? If I realize this, then defensive coordinators should be able to realize this shit. Or it's either that or I'm not getting paid nearly enough money. And quite honestly, I think it's the latter. Either way, a minute left, down 3. Game's not over. This is a legacy moment for Trevor Lawrence, and it was tipped and intercepted on the first play. The Bills and Josh Allen survive. Josh Allen is now 6-1 in the wild card round. He would be the greatest quarterback of all time if they handed out Lombardi trophies for winning in the wild card. No excuses for Allen to not win it all this year. San Francisco versus my Eagles. Oh, this is what you bastards wanted, huh? The game started with the 49ers taking a gigantic dump all over Quinyon Mitchell, going down and scoring a touchdown early to go up 7-0. But the Eagles and Saquon Barkley looked like their 2024 version early on, and there was even an interesting play call on a reverse motion to Dallas Goedert for a touchdown run, but Jake Elliott, who I never want to see in an Eagles uniform again, missed the extra point. God, do you think that would come in handy later? The Eagles were unable to capitalize on 4th and 2, and then, after a couple more defensive stops, they got the ball back and scored another touchdown on an ad-libbed play by Jalen Hurts to Dallas Goedert to go up 13-7 before the 49ers marched downfield for a field goal immediately after George Kittle had his Achilles explode on national television, and neither team was able to get any more points on the board for a moment. Even though Brock Purdy threw an interception to Quinyon Mitchell, all this motherfucker does is intercept passes in the playoffs. He has 4 playoff interceptions and 0 regular season interceptions. 3rd and 19, yeah, better throw a fucking short pass there. That's great. Oh my God, Jake Elliott did something well, kicking a field goal to make it a 6-point lead for the the Eagles going into the fourth quarter. And then Purdy on this trick play to Juwan Jennings to an open Christian McCaffrey, who made a great acceptable touchdown catch to make it a 1-point-49ers lead. Oh, wow, another 3rd and long for the Eagles offense. Guess how that ended? Nothing. And then Purdy threw another terrible interception to Quinyon Mitchell, but the Eagles could only get a field goal out of it to go up by 2 with 8 minutes left. And then Purdy marched the 49ers downfield, where they scored a touchdown on this play where Nolan Smith was blatantly held by Trent Williams, which wasn't called, as Christian McCaffrey scored another hardworking, humble touchdown to go up by 4. And for some stupid reason, which Kyle Shanahan got away with here, the 49ers kicked an extra point, which they didn't make, but even if they did make it, why not go for 2 to make it a 6-point game? Either way, even if you missed the 2-point conversion, Philly would still need a touchdown. You can guarantee if San Fran lost, this would have rightfully been brought up. Final drive of the game, 3rd and 5. After a year-long's worth of bitching and destroying the locker room, A.J. Brown drops a crucial 3rd down pass that might have gone for 50 yards had he held onto it, but Jalen Hurts came through with a clutch throw to Dallas Goedert on 4th down to temporarily keep the season alive longer. But a few plays later, on 4th and 11, with nobody open and the season on the line, Jalen Hurts forced a pass and it was incomplete to seal the Eagles' fate. I honestly have nothing really to say. The Eagles had opportunity after opportunity, and they did not get the job done. Simple as that. They didn't get it done. They had their chances. Waste of a season. I know it sounds dumb, but in a way, I'm more upset about them punting on the 2 seed than I am about them losing this game, because if I had the choice, I would rather face a Matt LaFleur-led team in the playoffs than a Kyle Shanahan-led team if I had the choice. And the Eagles had that choice, and they fucked it up, because everybody knows that the 49ers don't choke until the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. Fire Patullo, fire Sirianni, get rid of Jake Elliott, trade A.J. Brown. There's a lot of work to do for the Eagles this offseason, but if you look at recent history, every other year we're going to the Super Bowl, so as a fan, I'll take that, and next year we're slated to go back to the Super Bowl. This is how I cope. Patriots versus Chargers. Here we see Drake May throwing a terrible batted interception deep in his own territory, which surely would result in points for the Chargers, right? Well, no. Justin Herbert, looking to avoid going 0-3, got 0 points out of that, while the Patriots ended up striking first with a field goal in the second quarter before the Chargers tied it right back up with another field goal, and that was about as good as the Chargers offense would get all day. Look at Justin Herbert falling and stumbling all over himself. The Packers then took a 6-3 lead into halftime. Here we see Drake May committing his second turnover of the game, but luckily for May, he was going against one of the worst playoff quarterbacks of all time, and he wasn't punished for it as the Patriots got the ball back, and May led them downfield for yet another field goal to give them a 6-point lead entering the fourth quarter. Justin Herbert, this is your moment to rewrite the legacy, and it did not happen. It took Drake May like 3 quarters and several turnovers to finally make a great throw, and here it is to Hunter Henry for the touchdown to give the Patriots a 16-3 lead, which might as well have been a 60-3 lead considering how terrible the Chargers offense was and Justin Herbert fumbling the ball away. But then Drake May fumbled it again, but it didn't matter because the Patriots defense only gave up 3 points. Wow, a New England Patriots quarterback winning a playoff game where he plays like dog shit? Never seen that before. As for Justin Herbert, he definitely seems like the type of guy that would retire in a second from football. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires this offseason. I just hope that some fucking team doesn't allow this Patriots team to win the Super Bowl, because we don't need another 2 decades of an overrated Patriots quarterback taking up all the attention and getting credit for shit he doesn't deserve credit for. Texans Steelers. Look at this clip, Steelers fans, because this is about as good as your offense would get all night, with a field goal to score first to take a 3-0 lead. You can't say CJ Stroud didn't try his best to keep the Steelers in the game. Although on this one drive, the Texans offense looked great to go up 7-3, and then after another terrible Stroud turnover, the Steelers were not able to convert it into any points because nobody was open, and they had to settle for another field goal to make it 7-6. You flip that around, you get 6-7. Life is absolute hell. Fast forward to the third quarter, CJ Stroud in the red zone. What does he do? He throws a terrible interception. I mean, with the way this Houston defense is playing, if Stroud just plays like Trent Dilfer, they might win the Super Bowl, and that's not a very high bar. But look at this. Rodgers gets hit as he throws by Danielle Hunter, who literally whipped his balls out and took a gigantic dump all over Troy Fautanu's face all game long, single-handedly in a way. Lost the game for the Steelers, I would argue. But anyway, here is an accurate long-distance strike to a C. Kirk. The last time I saw that was, well, never mind, you know. And it set up a 51-yard field goal to give the Texans a 4-point lead early in the fourth quarter. And then, just when everybody thought, hey, at the very least, at least the Steelers aren't going to get blown out in a playoff game, the Texans had a fumble sick 6 by Sheldon Rankins. I mean, look at this play by Sheldon Rankins. Look, he fucking literally pancakes the left guard. But not only that, Rodgers gets absolutely whacked in the helmet. This is obviously should have been hands to the face. It should have been negated, but because Rodgers isn't Tom Brady, he doesn't get that call. And then on 3rd and 13, Rodgers, the pass gets deflected. They're in no man's land. They have to punt the ball, and then the Steelers defense gave up a touchdown run. Well, at least Aaron Rodgers' stats aren't that bad. Oh my God, he throws a pick 6. This is literally might be the last throw of Aaron Rodgers' career. The most talented quarterback ever and the greatest quarterback ever at avoiding interceptions might end his career with a pick 6, which gave the Texans a 30-6 win on the road. They'll play the Patriots next week. That game might end 2-0. I mean, it really might. I don't know.